Rapid fire. This is everybody shut up. Rapid fire. This is episode 206. It looks so human. Now, Derek, you go.
The server is calling me daddy.
The fat mode is too fat.
Oh, great. More pedals.
My friend Jesus plays a butterscotch telly.
All through a Mesa dual rectum fryer.
It's the tone control. Ding.
Ding it.
There. Now we've, how many titles is that? 6? 6 titles. Yeah, we hit it. We hit it.
We did it all, everybody.
All the titles.
We bowled all of them.
That's good. I love it. I love it.
And we're back.
We're back on another shiny Thursday.
Shiny.
Yeah, why not? I'm feeling good.
It's a shiny Thursday, and here we are. Welcome to the Tone Control, where if we do a cold open, it's going to be faked later. I don't know what to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you doing? You doing good?
Yeah. It was a full week, but it feels good to be here. I spent some of my week sort of finally trying to figure out this thing. Like I've had complaints about my whole recording system here for the show since we lost a chunk of that one episode. And I was like, there is a better way to do this. And I did figure out that better way and did get it set up like today, this afternoon. So it's good now. So we're all good and real happy with how it came out. I also prepped another Patreon exclusive that's going to come, and I think another one in my pipeline as well. So I've got some more stuff. That's making this other stuff a lot easier too. I can do screen records and extra features and stuff a lot easier. So more of that stuff coming. Holy crap, the shiny gifts in the chat. I just looked down. So,
yeah.
So, that, how's it going over on your end?
It's going good.
Yeah.
You always have such great, like, intro stories to tell, and I never do. I'm always like, what did I do for the last 2 weeks? And I can never remember. But then just the other day, I was like, oh my God, this is the thing, right? This is what I need to save for the podcast. So I'm going to share a picture and I want you to pull it up on screen.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
I'm being joined.
Nope.
What wife is here, everybody? Why would I have not started yet? How can I help you? You can't get out, just come on in. What is it?
So in the chat. So Justin.
Oh, is this why you're in here right now? Okay, hold on. I can do this. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Wait. I frigged up.
You frigged up, Justin.
There we go. Fixed.
There we go. Fixed it. Oh, yeah.
Guys. All right. So the audio listeners right now don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Okay. So what the fuck's going on is
cackling in the background.
Yeah. Why our wives are on screen and cackling in the background is because my wife Beth and I are expecting a baby.
Magnificent job. It looks so human. So there's an ultrasound on screen.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
I would just like to tell everybody that I have known for like 2 months and I have not said a word.
She didn't say anything to me. That's intense that she didn't say anything to me.
You've known
actually.
since the day after Derek knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and this is an old ultrasound now. This is 12 weeks. But today is week 15.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So we're moving right along here.
Wow. I'm so excited.
Tone controlled baby party.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Chat's going off right now.
I
can't
covered up
keep
chat. I can't see it. Oh, yeah. It's going crazy.
Hi,
Yeah,
Justin's
yeah.
wife.
They're using swear words.
That's naughty.
Inappropriate. You guys, don't you know there's a baby here now? What are you doing?
I'm like super nervous to like have done this
Wow.
whole operation here because
I
there was
know.
like, how are we going to tell Justin? We thought it'd be really funny to just never tell Justin.
I said that we should wait until like I'm gonna go out there to see them,
Yeah.
right? And just be like, oh, I'm going to New Hampshire. And you're gonna be like, why? And I would just be like, bye. Like I don't have to ask her permission.
I'm an adult.
And then I would just
Oh
show
my God.
up on Zoom with the baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guess what? Oh, did we forget to tell you? Or we were joking like, oh, maybe if we had a vacation or met up somewhere and Beth gets out of the car extremely pregnant. And it's like, oh, did we forget? Oh, sorry.
Shoot. I can't believe. Oh,
Oh,
man.
shoot.
It's in my mind.
I wanted her to get out of the car with like being extremely pregnant, but then with like a giant bag of Doritos or something and be like,
Yeah.
Man. Well,
Yes.
that.
So-
yeah. Wow. Well, congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're right. Your story is
Thanks.
better this time.
Yeah. This is the best story. Yeah. Due on July 14th,
All right.
which is exactly the day after my sister's wedding. So it's going to be a hell of a time. We're going to figure all that out. But, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. See if you can hit that bullseye.
Yeah.
thread that
Yeah,
needle.
we'll see. Beth is like trying to hear through the outside of my headphone.
That's why
and it's
I
not
turned mine
working too well.
around. So
Oh,
yeah. See.
that's super uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's not great.
Oh, that's much better.
What are you gonna
Yeah, doesn't feel great. Anyway, that's what's going on, guys.
do? Wow.
Been holding on to this one for 15 GD weeks.
It was
Oh my
harder for
God.
me than it was for you. I just want you to know.
I bet.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
But
Awesome.
Marielle hasn't even seen my belly.
I have not. I've seen a picture of you
Well,
not
that-
fitting into your pants.
Yeah. Save the belly. That doesn't need to be on the podcast.
No.
No, come on, get out of here.
Oh, well.
No, okay.
If she comes parading around in the back at some point later in the show, I won't say anything.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. There she goes.
There she goes.
There she goes. So yeah, man.
Wow.
Okay, I'm going away now.
Congratulations. Okay. Wow.
Thanks.
I thought there was no way in hell you were coming out here like, oh, I didn't think you'd started yet.
Well, I had to think of something to say because then I realized I was on camera in my jammy pants.
Yeah. Well done.
Fantastic.
We did it.
Aw, whoever musical mooster is very nice.
Don't tell him that.
Okay. Strike this from the record.
He's really not.
Okay.
This is fun.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Go text Marielle a picture of your belly.
We're gonna go do our own podcast. Bye.
There's like nothing. Look at this. She looks completely, totally normal.
Get out.
All right. I'm being pushed out of the way.
Good.
I can tell.
Oh.
Hang on. There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
Like a normal 15 weeker.
Yep.
Killing it, girl. Woo!
Yeah, damn right.
All right.
All right.
Go work on getting thicker, Beth.
Go have fun.
Did you hear that?
No.
Justin says go work on getting thicker.
Don't worry.
She says don't worry.
It's enough for.
In process.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, that's the end of the episode. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean that's it. How are we gonna follow that? Wait,
I don't know. No, there's nothing else matters. It's true. So
So when we're prepping the show, Derek's like, I don't really have very much for the show. Do you have any discussion topic ideas?
that was still true.
Well, no, I'm thinking in your head, you're like, do you have any ideas? Knowing full well Justin never has any ideas. And then, oh no, we could just fill the show anyway.
Yeah. Actually, what we are going to talk about,
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Pretty good idea.
it's pretty good.
But yeah, man, we're having a baby and I'm stoked and doing the freak out and like that. No, it's great. Everything's fine. But then like, oh, freak out. And then no, but it'll be great. And then, oh, freak out. Yeah, there's a bunch of in-betweens.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, next scan is in 5 weeks from now. So week 20 and we're just kind of moving along,
Yep.
it's been a wild ride getting to this point. Like, I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail here because
Sure.
that's not why you're here. But this has not been.
It's not why you came, but it's why you're staying.
Yeah. So it's not been easy.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it there, I guess. So it's funny, like all this time we've been joking, like, God, when you're a kid, they make it seem like you look at someone the wrong way and you're going to get pregnant.
Right.
Right. Like you trip on a curb and, oh no, you're pregnant. Is not true. But yeah, we're rocking and rolling now, man. So it's going to be a hell of a year. Lots to figure out. Of course, plenty of things to figure out podcast wise too. So we'll get there this summer.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll, change is coming, but
Yeah.
it'll
be good.
Things roll on.
I've been so ready for like the next thing to happen, right? Like life chapter wise, if you want to think of it that way, for kind of a while. So, and with the pandemic really doubling down on that, like every day is the same. Like, what am I working towards?
Right.
Like, what is the next fun, exciting things going to be? And so like, this is certainly very welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tone control onesies, frig, let's go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually on my list of non-urgent things to do has been some more tone control merch, which I was going to set up through a print to order store so that we didn't have to manage it or anything. So yeah, I'll get on that. Onesies are available for my other podcasts. So I will definitely.
It can be done.
I'm actually, at this point, I'm just falling down on the job. So we'll make sure that's sorted out soon here.
Yeah. So now I'm all like flustered and scattered all the time now too. So like, I'm kind of forgetting that we have like a real podcast to do here, and we're going to have a normal podcast to do for a while still. But you know, it'll be crazy. It's going to be a tough year. Like obviously, pandemic, of course, still raging.
Yeah.
And pregnant wife. On top of that, I'm in grad school still. Work is going bananas in a good way, but it's still bananas. So it's going to be like sipping from the fire hose, as my mom would say. But we're here for it.
Tone control binky, somebody said.
Have you seen those pacifiers that are a guitar volume knob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody gave us one at some point. I wonder.
I'm sure I'll end up with 10 or 12 of those.
They'll be throwing them at you.
Yeah.
I never put it in Arya's mouth. It went up to 10, and I just thought, what are you trying to do to me?
But it also goes to 0.
Does it? 0 to
1.
10?
Looks at guitar.
Well, no, I don't mean on a real. I mean on the pacifier. The point is the pacifier went up to 10.
Yeah.
Fail. Yeah. Okay. So anyway.
Okay. So
right.
That's what's going on, you guys.
Yeah.
And what else has been going on? I bought a new overdrive pedal.
Cool.
Redid my little pedal board for the office.
What you got to do sometimes.
That's it. I beat a video game.
You beat a video game.
I finished a video game, one might say.
Into submission.
Boss fight.
You finished it into submission. I still have the thing up on this. I'm going to switch.
Okay.
All right. All right. So, so in the chat they're talking about. So if you if for the live audience, if you want to view the show more like a show, you could just tell your Discord video to focus me, because my screen has the production feed, so to speak. Derek will probably be a little bit out of sync, but I have gotten better at fixing that in post. Anyway, sorry, somebody was talking about that in the chat. So anyway, we should get in and do a show. Once again, we're going to call out the Genie.
Thanks to Pedal Genie for sponsoring the tone control. Visit pedalgenie.com and start your wish list today.
Yeah,
Boom.
bud.
Yeah.
Bam. Here we go.
Bam.
Thank you for all the kind support and love in the chat. This is very surreal. And
That doesn't go away
It's
for
like
a long time.
I know. I like prepared for that, but also not. And
Yeah.
it's like you have these days. I mean, you know what it's like. I don't need to tell you. You have this like they sudden like remembering like, oh shit. Right? Like this is a thing that's happening. Oh my God. Like, and then like how long was it before I remember again? Right? Oh, back to work. Okay. You know,
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
what I'm doing. Oh my God. Right. So it's crazy pants, but it's good. Much love. Thank you, everybody. We'll keep updates going, I guess, and we'll figure something out this summer.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll work out what we need to work out. Poof. All right. Right.
Doug, mute yourself.
I muted Doug already.
Yeah, I got to mute. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Dear individuals, you can mute other people if you want to. Anyway,
Do we have that enabled? I don't know. But yeah,
it's
anyway.
only for you. It's not like
Okay.
you mute the person's
Oh,
feed
right,
to you.
right.
So
Yes.
I happen to be able to server mute him also. But anyway,
The red mute.
the red mute. Okay, this is going to be a distracted episode, and that's
I'm super distracted all the time. Also, like completely unrelated and kind of the opposite direction of all of this is right before coming upstairs to set up, a friend of mine from my hometown texted me some absolutely insane bad news.
Oh no.
And like I'll fill in the chat later, but somebody, like, you think you know somebody and then it turns out they're in jail, and it's like for
doing a bad. Yeah.
for doing a real bad.
Oh.
And it's just crazy to be like, oh my God, like you think you know somebody, you think the world is like the world, and it's not. So
Wow.
I'm like in both extremes.
Things are going
right
in
now.
different, pulling in different directions. Holy shit, man.
Yeah. So anyway, the server's calling me daddy, it looks like. Let's just move on.
Yeah. Yeah. They want you to change your name, I think.
I can do that.
Yeah.
How do I do that? Whatever. Let's do a podcast.
They want me to change my name to something like smaller. I don't get it. Okay.
Well, you're still New Year's Justin. That's
Well, it's all right. Yeah.
it's still the
okay.
new year. Guess what, everybody? It's always the new year.
It's always the new year. How do I edit my server name?
I don't know. I don't
Frick,
freaking
why
know.
am I doing this right now? Like,
It's bad radio, bad TV. That's the
this
saying.
is bad. This is bad. This is great radio.
I'm gonna listen to somebody change their Discord name live on a podcast.
Okay, everybody shut up. The PRS Silver Sky SE confirmed at $849 US.
Yeah, we talked about it last time. Everybody's talking about it. It's the one to get. It's hard to find. Back orders are going like crazy. Don't sleep on it. That's all I gotta
Don't
say
sleep
about
on
that.
it. Don't sleep on it.
850.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I do. It's the Tombstone Treble Boost from 37 Effects.
Fucking A.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Stone.
Uh-huh.
Treble.
That was a fun demo to make.
Whatever. 37
Multiple guitars,
FX.
multiple
man.
pedals. We had the Lollygagger Canalia in at the same time, so we were like pairing them up, doing cool shit.
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Okay.
That was
Actual
that
guitar
was-
stuff?
Yeah, that was for the thing because I forgot to do a thingamabobber. So actual guitar stuff. Next, wait, I'm gonna basically play back-to-back sounds because the next item of business. I'm just gonna do one first. We're pulling a weirdo.
What?
What?
I feel like that's something I would have played, but I cannot tell you what that is. It's some kind of fuzz.
Yeah, it's the Dwarfcraft Gears.
Oh. Dwarfcraft, hard to say, makes some wild stuff. I know that much.
Yep. That's cool.
Yep.
Hey, do you guys in Discord, do you hear the music in stereo now? Or does Discord just have a mono feed?
Oh. We have a
Yes.
yes, and I don't fucking know.
Well, if you're just listening to it like on a phone speaker, then you wouldn't know. If you're playing it in headphones, then hopefully you can. Because I have like my fancy new audio system, and I was hoping it would be better. So anyway, the Maestro Collection pedals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up now. So what the fuck?
Maestro. I feel like I can't hear myself the same as I usually do. Anyway, Maestro is
I can hear you just fine.
was the first pedal brand, which
What?
is a cool thing. Yeah, the first brand of pedals. They released
Wow.
the fuzz tone, which is the tone famously heard on Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of fell off the radar decades later, all that. Anyway, at some point Gibson acquired them. I don't know when or why, but now
For money.
everywhere.
Derek.
Yes. Okay.
One
I
question.
know why.
Answered.
I don't know when. Yeah. The thing here is that Gibson is reintroducing the Maestro collection. So all
Right.
the marketing material is like Gibson introduces the Maestro, right?
Yeah.
They're all pretty cheap. They're $149. One of them is $159. That's the delay. But they've got a fuzz that's based on the fuzz tone. They've got an overdrive, a distortion, a chorus, and the delay. And they seem pretty cool. They also seem kind of like who's it for? I don't know. It's like the retro aesthetic is very cool. I like the look and everything, and the Maestro name is a cool thing for sure. However, I don't. It's just not for me. I guess I don't know. I'm kind of like nobody's been waiting around for Maestro to come back,
Okay.
in my opinion. But
Yeah.
so
There's a whole.
there's a whole lineup.
It's a whole fucking lineup.
Whole fucking lineup, and they sound good. Like there's not like a bad thing about them. It's just, and we'll get into this a little bit later in the show. I find, and I've kind of talked about this when we produced the podcast. Guitar news and like pedal news, amp news needs to be like really exciting for me to want to talk about it, you know. And this is like, oh, cool, a chorus pedal, a distortion pedal, a delay, and there's as far as like each individual product goes. They just do what they say on the tin.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But I'm not like, holy shit, this is the greatest advancement in whatever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It is tough. So now I'm in my head, I'm like trying to decide if I want to talk about the Maestro thing or if I want to talk about the greater issue that you just brought up.
Well, let's save the greater issue
Okay.
because that's like sort of our
That's
chat
sort of
for
it.
later.
Yeah. Okay. About this, it's yet another one of these, repeated form factor. Here we've got your every bit of pedal that you're going to need. Although there's just a bunch of distortions and then a chorus and a delay. So it's not every bit of pedal, but it's like you would buy.
But they're
the
all
whole
like the
set,
same.
You know.
Yeah, they're all the same case. They all have 3 knobs. They all have a switch. And they all mini switch, and they do some cool stuff. But yeah, it's
So
like
is
people
this,
who
is
have
this
been
like
waiting,
a boss?
who want to buy a chorus pedal, haven't been waiting for the Maestro.
Well, right. And it is so it strikes me as being like a boss kind of situation where
Maybe, yeah.
I just don't it's not exciting. It's fine, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But there isn't
That's the thing, like-
anything that's like a standout feature or any of that nonsense either. It's just that here's the whole lineup.
Well,
now we're here too.
The distortion has a noise gate in it. Okay.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay.
You could
Fine.
fuck that up.
Also, like not a must-have feature for distortion pedals, right? It's not like if this one doesn't have a noise gate, so forget it. Most of them don't have that. So
Yeah, it's not like this is going to be the only distortion. And once people hear what a noise gate sounds like, this will be the only distortion anybody uses.
yeah. So
Not quite.
yeah, it's who's it for? It's like you said, it's fine. We're here too.
Mm-hmm.
And the prevailing feeling I get about like keeping up with guitar news is just a constant, like unrelenting. We're here too, from a bunch of brands, right? And we're sort of like dipping into this topic for later, but Well, actually, let me take a peek at our notes. Should we just talk about this now? I mean,
Well,
the only other thing is really Pedal Genie. So, like, do you want to get into this?
well, we can talk about the candy apple.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Maestro original collection, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool, new pedals, great. Like, I'm a believer of like any guitar is good guitar, right? Any gear is good gear. Like, just give all to me. I need it all, right? I love the consumption of all this stuff. However, I'm just sort of like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
It's a pedal lineup and move on.
Move on. Okay, so do you want to throw in a Pedal Genie ad and talk about Candy Apple?
Yes, and
Candy
I
Apple
also
demo?
have I have a pedal here that's not from Pedal Genie that I want to talk about also.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
Let's tackle that then. What are we doing? What did we decide?
Oh, Eric said the gift call for tonight is ice cream.
Ice cream gifts. Ice cream gifts. Here we go.
Pedal Genie is like the Netflix of guitar pedals. Rent any pedal you want for as long as you want for one low monthly price. Shipping is included and there are no late fees or time limits. With over 1,500 pedals to try from nearly 100 different manufacturers, Pedal Genie definitely has the gear you want to try. Subscriptions start with Flex at just $19.95 a month. Try out one pedal at a time for as long as you want. Send it back when you're ready for the next one. For only $39.95 a month, the standard subscription includes shipping, so you could have a different pedal every few days. If one isn't enough for you, Pedal Genie Pro gets you 3 pedals at a time for only $64.95 a month. Shipping included. There's a subscription for everyone, and best of all, your first month is free. If you find the pedal of your dreams, the one you just have to keep, Pedal Genie will offer you a buyout option. Prices vary with the length of your membership and the type of pedal, but you'll definitely get an awesome price for the pedal in your hand. So head to pedalgenie.com to fill up your wish list with pedals, and they'll send out your first pedal ASAP. Pedal Genie, all your pedal wishes granted.
He's cooling himself off.
Oh my God,
so
ice
into
cream
it.
everywhere. I love this thing of new gifts each episode.
Oh yeah.
And if you're in the chat early, you get to call what it is this week that we're going to be looking for in the gifts. So this week it was ice cream, and I'm glad.
The
glad it was
pricing
that.
on Pedal Genie's website finally updated.
Oh, good.
So now it's accurate.
Yes, if you wanted to save some money on Pedal Genie, do it last year.
Yeah. When's the best time to invest in Pedal Genie? Yesterday.
Yeah.
But the second best time is today. Pedal Genie's fine, but we don't have any pedals today. However,
Yeah, I had the candy apple forever.
yeah, I
and
had
kept
one
it.
forever too, and I was doing nothing
and I
with
sent
it.
it
just
back,
forgot.
and then there was a holiday on Monday, so the mail was delayed. Like, it was just a whole thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the candy apple fuzz, we did a live stream demo that's up on YouTube now,
We sure
and
did.
you can just go watch that DVR style, and it's cool. It's a fuzz. It's kind of big muffy. It's kind of its own thing. Mine had really seen some action. It was very
Yep.
beat up, and the labels were all worn off and stuff. But I thought it sounded pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like the ideal fuzz for me, but it was certainly a fun hang.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I did that demo mix today, and
Cool.
and recorded it, and that's going to be a Patreon exclusive. That's going to go up as soon as I finish editing it. But I did a mix in UAD Luna, so it's another that goes like almost 50 minutes because I was like finding my way around a new system, and we'll see if I keep doing those recordings, if they get any shorter. But
Yeah.
it really doesn't take me that long to do a quick mix like that when I am not doing some experiment like
Yeah.
live recording
New
it
software,
with
yeah.
unscripted with new software. But anyway, it's sort of a little crack at something. Anyway, I think it sounds cool. You had said something to me about like if the bass doesn't work, like
Yeah, so
Throw
I was
it
like, if
out
the
or-
bass is too wild, just like skip it, right? Because it's a guitar pedal. But I always like to, with drives and stuff, I like to try them
Yeah.
on bass at least. And I was set up in here with the Rev D20, which is not a bass amp, but I still ran my bass through it anyway. I did the whole thing with that.
Yeah.
Because in the past, when I've used the Rev, I've also had my Helix here to run bass
Okay.
when it's time for that. And I forgot it in the basement. So,
and you were gonna go to the fucking basement.
well,
Like,
I was
give
like
me a
on
break.
stream, like I couldn't like I'll be right back, guys. So, but it was a friggin' wild tone. Like it was just all over the place. So did you use it?
Oh yeah. I had to. I found I wanted to. I actually turned the lows down on it a bit.
Yeah, it was wild. It was all over the place.
It was big, and I think it's also because the pedal itself, like the guitars, had quite a bit of thickness, and they weren't like the main rhythm guitars were on the darker side, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, but it was interesting. But I have it. You want to? Hey, everybody, do you want to hear it?
I want to hear it.
All right, Frig. Let's go. Where did you find that fucking kid? The kid throwing up the metal horns. Oh my god!
It's the attitude, right? It is the look away and just the fucking
he gives no shits, man.
Yeah, it's a huge sounding pedal. I got my slide just lives here on my desk for some reason, and sometimes I just feel like need a little slide in my life, and I'm really bad at it, but it's sometimes fun to put in these like sweeping kind of lines. So there's one slide track, and then that's doubled with just guitar octave, like power chord type things. So
right on,
really cool.
Yes. Okay, so there's another pedal.
You don't have anything this week, you said?
I don't have, because I literally forgot to send the other pedal back.
Oh, okay.
Until like 2 days ago. So
I bought a King Tone Duelist.
Okay.
Which is an overdrive, a dual overdrive from King Tone. I don't know what you want me to say. It's
what do you fucking want from me?
What do you fucking want? So it's fucking great. That's all I can tell you. I did not pay that dollar amount. I got it. I traded some things. So I had the Keeley Fuzzbender that I was like enjoying, but like not in love with. So I traded that towards it. And I also had an EHX memory toy that I got rid of to go towards this, and had a gift card to the guitar shop. So I was like, fuck it, let's go. Yeah. And got a great deal on this thing. A little hard to find sometimes, a little pricey on Reverb, but man, it fucks. It is so good. So it's great. It's so the A side, the string singer side, is like a tube screamer thing, but it's a little modified, and it doesn't have that like honky tube screamer thing that a lot of people dislike. And then the heavy hand side is like a blues breaker, Marshall blues breaker style, but it brings the beef. And each side has a volume and a tone. You can run them individually or together. And then each side also has a 3-way toggle for the stock setting, a fat setting, or a glass setting, which is like brilliant and sparkly and high-endy. So, and then it's just like a friggin' monster of tone. Like there's so much gain on tap. It's surprising. But it doesn't get out of control and collapse in on itself and get that weird kind of like the overloaded kind of sound it really stays away from, which I'm super into. So I've got everything. I'm going to dial up everything here at noon. And then both sides are set to the stock mode. So anyway, here's my clean tone. My bypass tone, that's probably what I should say, right?
Yeah.
So string singer side, drive at noon, tone at noon. I'm playing on my Les Paul. Going through the rev. So if I move that to the glass side, everything else is the same. Removes a lot of the lows, really sparkly, chimey high end. Move that over to the fat side.
It's a thicker bottom.
Yeah. And then drive B, which is the heavy hand side, stock setting. That's like such a me tone. I fucking love it. That's the stock mode. Here's the glass mode. And then the fat mode. It's great. And then you can run both together. And then, of course, because each side has its own switches,
That
you can
needs a
run
noise gate in it.
yeah, it's a little. We're buzzing here, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of shit on my desk right now. So. But because they both have the fat, stock, and glass switch, you can have like the heavy hand in the fat mode and the tube screamer side and the glass mode and stuff, and then really change them up. So I've been kind of dialing the gain well below noon because that's a lot of drive right there at 12 o'clock. So I've been kind of boosting the tone on each of them and then using the mini toggles to sort of sculpt to taste. And that switch changes a lot depending on which guitar I'm using. So if I'm using a brighter, like Fender style guitar, I might use the fat mode, but with the Les Paul, the fat mode is a little bit too fat. So
You hear that?
yeah,
hear
a little
that?
too fat. But I'm in love with this thing, and it's a keeper. It's a total, like, everything I buy from now on is going to be compared to this. Like every drive will be compared to this.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm typing a thing. Anyway, too fat. That's what we said, right? But it's cool to have one side, like two sides in this one pedal. You can have one kind of like a crunchy kind of breakup thing, and then the other just scorching and really friggin' go to town. Mm-hmm. And you've got the three combinations there as well, which is wicked. Right on.
Right on.
The Duelist.
Fucking A right.
Yeah. And Music Mill had it. You don't see them in stores very often. So I was like, oh, damn it. And I walked in, I was like, let's do a thing. So yeah.
This is a dirt pedal.
It's a dirt pedal for sure. I'm really into it. I'm loving it. And it interacts well with like all my other gear, like boosts treat it really well and stuff. So it's a cool thing.
Yeah. Cool. I dig it. So it looks like next on our list is just chit chat. It's just a lot of chit chat. So here's another sound. Here's the sound. Here's another sound. This one I dug out. I don't know what you're gonna make of this.
Boy, that's a me demo if there ever was one, huh?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So that's the file name says SSBS Mini. What does that mean?
Oh, Small Sound, Big Sound Mini.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I used to have one of those and sold it. Actually, that's the overdrive pedal that I used on the Delaney EP.
Ah, well, this is probably why it sounds so Delaney.
Yeah, that's probably why it sounds like me. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a cool pedal. I just wanted some other stuff, you know?
Like a Duelist, for example.
Yeah, I sold that away after. What did I get instead?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what it was? I kind of switched things around, had the 1981.
Oh, right.
And I was using the Mythos Mjolnir and stuff, which I still have killer pedal.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the Walrus Audio Ages, like, because those together all sounded amazing, like stacked.
Right.
And the Mini was just off the board for a really long time, and I wasn't missing it, which is usually my sign that it's okay to let something go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Sweet, dude. So
Chit-chat?
anyway. chit chat. So, okay. Want to talk about the gear we had as kids?
Yeah, which I think can segue into a bit of like
Probably
the
this
gear,
probably
maybe.
going to extend.
Yeah, and to circle back to like what we were talking about earlier with like the industry, maybe a little bit. So yeah, what did you have?
How did this come up?
So I had asked in the chat, like, what do you guys want us to talk about?
Hey, please make a
need some
podcast
stuff.
for us. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a little distracted. And Eric had mentioned something like, like talk about, I think he said like with the first couple of pieces of gear you had, like when you first started playing, I was like, that's cool. Yeah, that's fun. Because once I remember feeling like when you get good enough at your instrument to be dangerous and you kind of like start looking into gear, it's like it's the Wild West. There's so much, and you're broke when you're a kid and you really want it to go a long way. And
you don't have any idea what it is necessarily. Like,
yeah. And it kind of, it defines something about you and your playing, but
yeah,
you're not sure what.
So my first guitar was a bass. It was that bass right there, because I still have it. And I was in 6th grade. How old are kids when they're in 6th grade?
I'm bad at that kind of thing.
Yeah, me too. So 11. That might be right. So yeah, so my folks got that bass for me, and this little bass cube thing. It was this amp that was like a cube-shaped Roland bass amp thing. And I still have that, actually. It's, well, you know what? I could probably reach it.
He can reach it, everybody. Oh, shit. I saw this in the video that you mentioned last episode.
So it's not an amp anymore, but this was
look at that thing.
And the thing is, it's just a speaker box now, because I didn't. The amp was a cheap little piece of garbage, right?
Yeah, it's just a little practice
It's a
amp
chump thing.
Yeah.
So I took it out, and the only thing that was left was this little, because this is actually all just a sealed box. And there was a little, this is all cobwebby back here. I hope the camera isn't noticing that. But like, there's still like some shielding left on here, shielding tape from when the piece was in here. But I just put a little piece of wood and then put a jack there so I could just jack right into the speaker.
Cool.
Just soldered that into the wires. So, so now it's just a bass speaker. And I just, so when I'm like playing something that needs a bass speaker sound, I'll plug one of these amps into it, usually the bottom one.
Is that chunkier. The same speaker that was in it when you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because it's the only bass speaker I have, right? Everything else is guitar speakers, which sometimes sound cool on bass, but the resonance is a little different. And so I have
was curious if you had
bass through the
upgraded
guitar speakers too through a vintage 30, and it's fine, but it's kind of a different thing. But no, it's just whatever was in there. I don't even know what it is. Because it's a sealed, because I never even looked at it.
Yeah, you never I thought you maybe had upgraded the speaker as well.
No, I'd have to take the front off, which I never did.
Yeah.
When I opened the back up, I thought maybe I'd get a peek at the label, but
it's probably
it was
just
all
some house
sealed,
brand.
and I was like, well, I'm not going to cut it. That's fucking great that it's sealed. So yeah, I'm sure it's whatever, but it's fine.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. When did you branch to guitar?
A long time after that. So I sort of like played around. The bands that I was in at that time was like a really bad joke, and it was like, I don't think I even really played this bass in a band that ever did any, like, never completed a song, much less played a show or anything. You know what I mean? And then. And then I was the singer of some bands in the screamo era, in high school, and then after that I did play this bass in a metal band, which was fun, and that was like, so that was sort of the realest band at the time, and then after that. That's when the Speed of Film started, when I left that band. So that's when I got a guitar. I got the Korean-made Telecaster that slowly got its parts swapped until it became that Telecaster. But only the neck pickup is part is only the neck pickup is from the original
What is
first
that,
guitar I had.
What is that thought experiment? Is it the ship of Theseus?
No. Well, I don't know. Maybe
It is. I think
you replace every board in the ship, and eventually,
Yeah,
is it the same
is it
ship?
eventually still the same ship or not? Like all the members of Taking Back Sunday eventually like left.
Yeah. Basically that. So So when I left that band. I wasn't playing bass, so I was like, I have to do this on my own, I guess. Ugh. So I'll just like be the singer and a guitar player. And I got a guitar, and I got an Ampeg V4. I had a V4B as my bass amp, and it was a kick-ass bass amp. It was so heavy though; it weighed seriously 80 pounds, and I had 810 cab, and it was awful. But it was cool, but it was awful. And
I remember that thing. It sounded fucking killer.
It was so meaty. It wasn't that loud for a bass amp because it was only 100 watts tube, but which is not that much for bass. But anyway, so then I got this V4B and I got all this other stuff. So I had that's when I got my first guitar. Way late. Like I was like out of college. I was like done. I was like in my 20s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of gear over the years. My first guitar, I still have, we were just talking about this the other day. I still have my first 3 guitars.
Mm-hmm.
My first guitar was my acoustic that is an Alvarez, like kind of entry level acoustic with a cutaway and some crummy piezo pickup in it. It is truly the gateway to like all of my guitar learning when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound awesome, but it's on every recording I've ever made. So like every studio recording I've ever done that involves acoustic, it is the one that we always go with because it just sounds a little better recorded than everything else. It's super weird. So it's great. I'll have it for a long time, I'm sure. It's all dinged up and worn and in weird places and stuff. And it was a gift from my parents when I was in 8th grade. So however old you are in 8th grade.
Well, if in 6th grade I was
13,
11, then in 8th grade you must be 13.
Yeah. And then I got an electric after that, which is an Epiphone Les Paul from the early 90s. I still have that. That's kind of been sacrificed for parts and stuff over the years. Cool guitar, needs a lot of work, plays pretty good. Like I picked it up the other day actually, based on this chat that we were having. And it's good. Like if you put some nice pickups in there and gave it a good setup, like it'd be off to the races with that thing. And then after that, I got my American standard Strat. Like I went really 0 to 60 on gear and like saved a bunch of money
for it. Yeah.
Went straight for an American made Fender, and I still have that guitar, and it kicks many butts. After that, I had like a few other odds and ends. This was so I went to like college with those 3 guitars, and I had those until I was like done with school, pretty much. Let's see. I had an Epiphone Dot for a little while, like a 335 style.
Yeah.
I had a G&L ASAT, which is a Tele type model from G&L instead of Fender. I had a Mexican Strat with a new pickup in it that you installed in your living room.
Where else are you going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, why not? And then at some point I got my Black Telly, which I still have. And then, at some point I got all the guitars I currently own still, right? So the Black Telly, the PRS, this Les Paul, the Orange Telly, which came pretty more recently. That was when I lived in this house. So my Blue Telly I built as a parts caster and stuff. Pink Telly, also a parts caster. That's it. I got a bass at some point when I was
I forgot about a lot of these guitars.
Yeah.
You have too
I was
many
actually
guitars.
just saying, I know. I was just saying, like, I wouldn't mind owning fewer guitars, but I do really like the ones I have. So there's not much in my collection that's like, I could get rid of that because I do really enjoy them all. So, Anyway, so I had actually in this closet across the room from me is my first practice amp, which was a little Fender Frontman 15, a 15 watt solid state thing with like an 8-inch speaker.
So cool.
Yeah, and I had some like I had like a DS1, I had a wah, which I had a wah until like not that long ago, the Vox wah.
Yep.
Some of the first pedals I had were like a Boss phaser. Actually, my small clone, which is still on a pedal board down here on the floor, currently the oldest pedal I own. Or well, that's not true. The pedal I've had the longest, I should say.
Oh, okay.
A lot of pedals over the years. The Gonculator is older technically, but I haven't had it as long.
Yeah.
And then just like pedals just like come and go all the time, so it's not really worth keeping track of. Although I have had the same Voodoo Lab Pedal Power 2 power supply since I was like in 10th grade. And
wow. Well,
it's
why not?
still
It's
kicking ass. Yeah, it runs my
there's nothing
HX
in
stump
there that
board.
has to ever fail.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Use it every day. It's great. So anyway, like the other part of this conversation, I guess, was
Yeah.
like the switch towards like approaches to gear or
Well, okay. So what I was thinking. So you said you were searching for ideas, and this was sort of the one. Like, talk about our early gear, and I was like, yeah. I mean, that's one thing. That's like a little bit of a story, but the thing that makes me think of is what's changed about maybe the world of guitar gear, and obviously it's through the lens of how we see it. But it made me think, like, when I got that first bass, like my dad helped me find it. But I have my memory is that he was actually trying to convince me to get a different one. There was another one. It was at a different music shop, and it was like this black kind of Strat shaped bass, but it wasn't. It was like, I don't know what it. I don't know what brand it was. It could have been Ibanez or something. No, it wasn't a Fender. It was like something else, and I didn't like something about it. And he thought it was the strings. Like, he thought the strings didn't feel as nice, but all we do is put the same strings that are on this on that jazz bass on there, and it'll feel good to you. And he was like trying to convince me. And he thought it was a better deal. Like, it was cheaper, but
the quality for dollars.
Right. He thought it was a better value for the price that they wanted for it, and he thought basically this Mexican Fender jazz bass was a little overpriced for what it was. And I was a kid, and I was like, basically, it feels a little better in my hand, but also like the way it looked, I was like, that's the bass that I picture when I want a bass.
And when you're a kid, looks are. Yeah.
It had nothing to do with what functionally you couldn't convince me that there was something better about this other bass, even if there was. And of course now, now I stretch that out, and now I understand what a jazz bass is and how it's different from every other bass, and how the pickup arrangement is, and how there are, this makes a sound that no other bass makes.
Correct.
It also can't make a sound that many other basses
can't do a P bass, right?
Right,
Yeah.
And in a sense, a P bass would have been a better choice for a studio, but like, I didn't know anything about that. And but now, so I have this two-sided thing. I have my memory of what this bass is and what it was when I got it, and then now when I think about things, I have a totally different perspective. And now it's like, not even just as a player. Like, I'm thinking about what if I get an instrument, I'm thinking about making sure it's versatile instead of something like
in your setting. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. There's some good chat going on here in Discord. Doug says he thinks the gear world has gotten a lot more complicated and asks for more in-depth knowledge from average users. Do
you think that though? Because now we have the internet in a way that we didn't, like when all this
I don't
stuff.
know. Like, has the baseline of complication gone up because of internet? I don't know. But like,
isn't it easier to figure out though?
Maybe. Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I'm so, like I said earlier, I'm so deeply entrenched in guitar and guitar news and gear and all this stuff. Not only because of the podcast. This is just who I am. It's the type of news that I enjoy following. It's why we started the podcast. Every few months, I am just so exhausted by all of it.
Yeah.
Right? In a really weird way, where it, like, in the Maestro thing is a good example, where it's like, oh, great, more pedals.
Fucking just more.
Like, whatever.
Right, and that's what we do. We call it up, and the first thing I'm thinking is like, what's the feature here? The feature of those apparently is that they're all shaped the same, and it completes the
or
set,
a vintage
you know?
brand. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess there's that. It's like if Supro made a bunch of stuff that sounded like everything else, but it's Supro.
Yeah, and which they do.
That's probably why it came to mind.
Yeah.
They're convincing me in the chat, by the way. I don't want you guys to think that I think you're wrong about the internet making things more complicated instead of less complicated. I was just hoping.
The internet, yeah, it has certainly led to like this cork sniffing factor. For sure. Like absolutely.
That's such a good image. I'm gonna walk
Cork
into the
sniffing.
shop. I'm gonna see these Maestro things and be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Right. And I don't know, man. It's just something's really got to have a killer feature or be truly unique, or like something about it has to be like, wow, look at this.
Yeah.
For me to even give a single shit and put it on our podcast, right? And I wanted to talk about the Maestro thing kind of for this reason, because
it's a microcosm.
Right,
Well, it's not a microcosm. That's the right. What am I thinking? It's just an example. It's an example of every 3 or 4 episodes. It's like, unless there was a bunch of stuff that all happened and you can pick out a few favorites, it's just like, what are we going to talk about?
yeah.
What?
Right.
are we-
Like,
and, you know,
And because this industry preys so heavily on nostalgia, it's like, what's left?
so much
right?
of it is that. Yeah.
So much of it is that. And John Mayer said in some interview about like why he left Fender and talking about all that.
Yeah.
He pointed out that like this industry is like romanticizing like car and surf culture still. You know, there are these
And then he goes and makes an album that's a total homage to the 80s.
Right. Yes. There are these brands though that are like, there's plenty of brands that are pushing things, right? You look at Strandberg or Mayonnaise or Line 6 or like
Did
what?
you just say mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise? Mayonnaise? Is mayonnaise an instrument?
It's an instrument.
Do you know what I mean though? Like there's other things out there, but they're all like, they're so typically pushed towards like prog rock and metal and all these things that are just like pigeonholing and
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's like Fender. We released the Telecaster again, and it's better than it was last time. And you'll just have to believe us. And I don't know. This is such a weird problem, but it's still kind of a problem.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wait. Like I'm hungry for something awesome to happen in the guitar industry. And every now and then it does, right? Things like products like Helix or Kemper. I was really excited, am still really excited about the Rev D20 because it's got the 2 notes thing. Like that stuff is killer. That's
innovations
the stuff that's
exist.
like, wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Innovations exist and it still has like vintage tones or whatever. You know?
Well, it saved what was good about it. Because you know, you said preying on nostalgia.
Sorry, listen, my friend Jesus played a butterscotch deli. That just got me real good. So, okay, go ahead.
So you said something earlier. The industry preys on nostalgia.
Yeah, on nostalgia.
Because that's what it is. It's like hunting. You know, it's like they put the scent on and they're going to lure you in for the kill, right? But there are things that are good. So the trick, I think. Well, it's weird because when we were kids, we didn't have any money. It was just like you get a thing. And then I remember like getting old enough to start to be able to realize that, wait a second, like my shitty bands sounds shitty. Our guitars sound like shit. And we have these cheapy little amps, but they say Marshall on them. But they're solid state amps, right? And then when we go to this show and we open for this other band, they have a real JCM 2000, which was the fucking shit at that era, by the way.
Oh, it was the biggest shit.
It was like, you have the JCM 2000? Oh.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know? And
Tone
then a few years later, it was like, oh, a JCM 2000? I got the Mesa dual rectifier, you know, and everything.
Yeah, right. Were you even in a band in 2008 if you didn't have a Mesa dual rectifier?
So I remember like being there and like, I think my shit sounds cool when we're all playing together. And then we go open up a show at some Elks Lodge or some shit where where kid bands play, and
Yes.
the band that's like the big band on the bill has the JCM 2000s, and it's like 150% different. And it's not just that they're much better at their instrument, which they fucking are. Okay.
Yes.
But it's totally different. And then it was like, oh shit, you can't get this for $500. You have to spend $1,500 on the real deal shit with the real deal cab, right? And then,
Totally.
okay, so but then the industry progresses and then things go in different directions, and pretty soon there's a triple rectifier, and then there's all this, and it's like, do you need the watts, and then we start shrinking, and then it's
a 100-watt tube head. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's a 150-watt tube head. It's like, do you needed more than 100 watts happened to you, and you were like, no, this will not do. So, rectum fryer. That better be your name by the time I get to the end of this, buddy. So anyway, I totally forgot what I was saying now because of rectum fryer. do you feel what I'm saying though? Like, and then
I do.
At
Yeah,
some
I know
point,
what you mean.
At some point, I have the knowledge, and then I start to see it. Oh, it's just a pattern of, well, this is the new thing that does all the same shit. Well, the Rev D20 is not a new thing that does all the same shit. It's also not the hand-wired version of the Vox or whatever, right? Where for $800 more, you can get one that's built worse. But because that's what it is. Like you can get one that has probably sounds the same, but ultimately, if it's different, it's because it has more self noise. That's what happens when you hand wire things. Okay, like, sorry everybody. And then, but then we have the Rev, something that's actual innovation. The Rev D20 actually isn't overdone. It contains parts that are usable, and just the parts that are usable and good. The best things from both of the worlds. Right?
Correct. Yes.
And in a world where Helix and shit like that is getting good enough that it almost doesn't matter, you still find a thing that has value to somebody like you who has the ability to discern that. That is
the chat. It's just we're talking about rectums now. Justin took his headphones off, guys. What have you done? Okay. I agree with everything you just said.
All right, let's end the show.
That's the thing, though. Like, it's just, I get really excited about like the Duelist, right? Like, this is a pedal that has a sound in it that I don't want to say I've been chasing it, but it has qualities. It feels a certain way under my pick where I'm like, this is it, right? I didn't know I was kind of after this kind of thing, but like, yeah, this is a good one. And everybody has their own personal end game. I think to think there is an end game is a joke. It's a fucking flaw in the system. Like you cannot, this does not end, right? To just, you're better off.
Foxy Bear saying fuck. It's a very,
guys, you got to get it. You got to get it in
gift.
Discord. It's amazing here.
Oh my God.
But do you know what I mean? Like to say.
Totally.
Like just everything's good enough for now, right? Someday we're going to look back on Helix and think of it as the friggin' pod farm. You know what I mean? These things are going to change. So this is sort of a different point, but I'm just routinely every 4, 5, 6 months, just so tired of all of it.
and that's when our conversation is, maybe this is the episode where we don't talk about guitars.
Maybe, because it's just like, like what? And I get it. Like the Les Paul, it shouldn't change. I'm coming out and I'm saying that. Like, yeah, the Strat, the Tele, Jazzmaster, whatever. Those things don't have to change, but like there can be more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There can be other stuff because there is always a market for the super accurate vintage spec shit.
Yeah.
But you can do more. And it's not just about like new woods or new colors or new pickups or anything like that. Just we need to, I think as an industry, need to like get away from just this romanticized vintage is better thing.
Yeah. And half the time it's not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of old shit that's broken, you guys.
if you start getting in deep with like 59 Les Pauls, right? This is like the peak of vintage gear. Decidedly, just the best guitars ever. Once you like,
It's
because I
over.
did it's over. You're done.
But that's the
How
thing.
many-
You're saying that, like, that is the
Yeah.
whole point, right? Is if that's the best guitar ever, hang it up.
Yeah.
And the fact that you
But-
didn't, even Gibson didn't,
Mhm.
proves it.
So, yeah, but you talk about like vintage PAFs in those guitars, right? Once you start kind of like learning
Okay.
more about it, and I've done this pretty recently,
Yeah.
plenty of people out there confirm not all PAFs are created equal. Some of them are real dogs, and like they're not great.
I think that happens
Just
a
because
lot. The older you get,
happens
the
all
more
the
out of
time.
spec things could be, right? Or the tolerances
Yeah.
weren't
Oh,
as tight
yeah.
back then. And so it was really like a matter of, yeah, but 30% of them are lemons or something.
Right. And it's this whole like, well, it's a PAF though. Well, sure. It doesn't mean it's
Now,
airtight.
you
Like, yes, there's great
16-year-old
ones.
idiot.
yeah, there's great ones, of course, but they're not all great. They're not all perfect. So I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of spiraling a little bit, but I also like I've been trying to find a way to bring this up on the podcast for
Sure.
a year, like a long time. And it's
Because it
just,
sounds like because to bring it up sounds like we're bitching about the thing that we signed up to do.
100%. And I am
Right.
very aware of like guitar media is bad. And I'm here as a guitar media person.
Guitar
I
media
totally
is
know.
bad. Sign up for our Patreon.
I was like scrolling through my usual places looking for news for this episode. And all the places were just full of like, oh my God, like I don't care. I just don't care about this. Oh, here's
Yeah.
an article on some vintage friggin' Firebirds. That's it. Like they're just, oh, these Firebirds from the 60s. Cool.
hmm
End of story. Like they're cool guitars. That's it. Why'd you write 6 pages on it?
Well, but that was a 2-minute read.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I hope like my point has come across, I guess. Do you know what I'm
I think it's
after
landing
here?
from what we see in the studio audience. I think, there's
the chat's on fire.
there's
I have to
plenty
scroll
of
back here.
yeah, totally. There's plenty of good ground for like where it's okay to still be part of this and to still be interested and stuff like that. Like nobody, like I'll wake up tomorrow and if I see something about some particular pedal or something like that, like I'm gonna look at it.
Oh, I look at all of it.
Shortly afterwards, it's probably boring and I'm going to move on, right? But occasionally there's one that's like, hey, that's a cool idea or whatever. Although usually if it's a pedal, I honestly can't be bothered until Derek tells me about it. If Derek picks it out and tells me about it, then I know it's been filtered. You're my filter, Derek. But I
Happy
can
to oblige.
like I can see stuff sometimes amps and guitars and things. I don't know why. Pedals, I can't. The pedal news doesn't flow in my direction for at least the good stuff. So rectifier.
Quantum rectifier in the chat. Rectum fryer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So close.
So close.
So
It's just that like, what else is there? And I saw this. This is not to put Orange amps on blast, but like they put out a product in the last 2 weeks that I almost put in the podcast, but then I was like, well, it's kind of just something else, right? It's just something that Victory does. And it's just something that all these other brands do. And it feels like it's a guitar amp, but in like a pedal enclosure, kind of like your Effectrode, but it's a whole amp, you know? Like it's got a speaker out and everything. So
Seymour Duncan did it.
yeah, except it's tube powered or whatever. So it's like, that's cool. However, plenty of other people have done this, and this product feels to me like it exists only to compete in the market with Victory, right? Or with any other of these similar products. And like, was anyone waiting for Orange to make it? Maybe, but I don't know. And I'm not fully convinced.
I can dispute that a little bit because if there's
I can
one
too.
or two companies making it, that's probably not enough, right? That's not a healthy market.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm with you there. It's just that like, oh, I see. Like the first thing when I see a new pedal or product or something like this, it's if it's not something that's blowing my mind as the first of its kind, it's hard to not immediately be like, what is this in response to? And
Sure. Which is,
and that's just me maybe having
Yeah.
done this podcast for so long and like kind of seeing the market change so much over the years. But like,
so if a company
It's
is
weird.
getting into that, like that's a market segment, and it's not like a huge one, but it's a market segment. It's something that technology finally allowed. So if they're like the third one to market, then there's something about it that would make somebody choose that over the other one.
yeah.
But it's not, what you're saying is like you're seeing that and you didn't put it in the show notes because whatever they have, they either didn't think of anything or didn't feel they needed to in order to capture whatever percent of the market they expect to stand
Right,
out.
and I
right?
didn't look
they
at
could
it
be
super
samey
closely.
enough because it's not that saturated a market or whatever. I'm sure they did their
Yeah.
research.
And I didn't look at it very closely because I was just feeling uninspired by the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I remember, I think we did talk about the Victory version of that a few years ago. And I saw it. I was like, oh, it's a pedal type thing, but it's an amp.
Yeah.
And what am I going to say that is not saying it's kind of like that Victory thing? Right. Or it's
Yeah.
kind of this other thing you know about. And again, this is not a jab at Orange specifically, but it's just this, you see this all the time in all kinds of, whether it's guitars, pedals, or amps, or anything in between. So, like, what do we do about that? And I think it's just sort of how it is now. You know?
Okay. Let me try to bring
Like,
this
I'm
home.
burning out. I'm jaded.
Let me
you
try
guys.
to bring this home a little bit. Because I think there is, I was sort of pondering this in the back of my mind the whole time we were just talking. So there's this thing that stuck out to me. This is weeks ago now, and I've been trying to find the time to bring it up on the show. And I think this is just something that I observed, and it's possible that it's totally nonsense. So let me, throw it right back at me.
Okay.
Modeling amps, the whole modeling thing has come so far. I don't think I can tell the difference, except there's this one thing that modeling amps don't do, and that's so far, I don't think I've ever heard one replicate the problematic idiosyncrasies of an amp that they sampled. And so what I'm thinking of is I was listening to some Coheed and Cambria record, one of the later half ones. And I was listening, there was a part where there was just a kick-ass guitar riff. Like it just dropped down to the kick-ass guitar riff, right? For a second. So you have this clear as day view. This is what the fucking guitar sounds like.
Just this is the guitar tone. Yeah.
And I heard it, and I happened to have my headphones on. I wasn't, I was listening in like a perfect environment. Like I was listening on the good headphones, and I was like, whoa, I hear there's a resonance in that speaker cab, but only at this certain note when he palm mutes it. So there's this one palm mute that had this little at the end of it, like extra. It's like the sort of thing that would bother me if I was really paying attention to it in editing or something, right? It's like there's this one that he hits and it just kind of sticks out. There's this big resonance around 200 hertz that kind of pops out for a second, and it's louder than the rest of the notes 200 hertz range, you know what I mean? And I don't hear that in any of these modeling things. They would probably tune that right out. They would make it perfect.
Right,
So that
because
it's
like
always,
you're saying,
if you feed it the same input, it's going to come out the same. But in real life, that 412 or whatever that they were recording in that room with that mic had this little bump in it at this one thing.
yeah.
And it was it was something that was going to be different if you pulled a different guitar out, right? And that's on that record. And that doesn't happen with the modeling stuff. So there's room for innovation here because we could model the fucking bullshit that you would cut out.
Yeah, I mean,
But do you want to?
like, can you model? Do you want to like have a really accurate model of a technical imperfection?
Yeah.
And like an idiosyncrasy like that. However, like if you were to run helix, like if you were to run a fractal or a helix through a cab and mic that cab and like do all that, like that could still happen, right?
You could add some of that in, or not fractal, but Kemper. So with Kemper, you're sampling an entire chain. So if we did a Kemper to the chain that he recorded that guitar part with, would we come up with a Kemper profile that had that bump in it in that right spot?
I don't know. I don't know enough about how that works, but yeah. So it's just, I think. I had this thought a minute ago, and I want to see if I can pull it back. But like, there is more room in our music lives, our guitar lives, than tone examples and gear examples from the 60s through the like 80s or whatever you want to, like whatever those like vintage years are, right? There is more out there than just like, this is the best Les Paul through a Marshall tone. And we keep going after that. Instead of like, guitar tone doesn't need to stay that way. You know, like I run into this all the time, especially with stuff like Helix. You can make tones that are technically impossible through traditional rig building. And it's our stupid guitar lizard brains that go like, well, you can't put a speaker before an amplifier. Well, guess what the fuck what? You know, and that's what I mean. Like that,
you idiot.
Yeah, that's like an impractical example, but guitar tone doesn't need to stay stuck in this like golden years approach that so much of the industry is cherishing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember asking when we had Fluff on, gosh, a zillion years ago, I had asked him, and this is probably before Helix, but as we get into modeling, are we going to start like technical, like prog metal and shit like that? Like, are tones going to be getting into a space where they are unachievable by traditional tube amps, analog gear?
And will that finally be the nail in the coffin?
Will that be the thing that eventually is like, well, you know, I see this in Helix groups I'm a part of. People are always talking about accuracy. And every now and then there's a post that's like, no one's really talking about like if the tone is good or not.
We should probably leave it there.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been a great no, this is perfect. This has been a great episode, and I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the chat, and I hope you've
Eric's asking, are we going to be hunting down 2008 Strats in 2077?
No, you idiot. 2009 Strats.
Don't be a dummy.
Yeah, you fucking moron. Okay. So, if you like the show, we want to hear from you. And I would love for you to write a review in your podcast app. Spotify has just in the last maybe 4 to 6 weeks finally added reviews right in their app. So if you're listening on Spotify, you can look at your app right now and push the button to review. That is a brand new review platform, so we need to add some reviews to it for the tone control. Please do that. I would love to get a bunch more stuff going on YouTube because we're starting to put a lot more there. And obviously over the past several months, we've been making the show more video friendly because I do kind of think that that's the way this is all headed. Since we all have 5G and shit now. So anyway, so you can come to discord.io. I'm going to start again. You can come to discord.io/tone control and join us in Discord, see what all the fuss is about. Discord's totally free. And if you want to support the show, which you definitely should because we are very good and you should want to make good stuff better, go to patreon.com/thetone control, and for as little as $1 a month, you can help us produce the show and at least help us feel good about producing the show. And if you want to donate $2 or more per month, you'll be a supporter plus, i.e. the royal we, and you get a special role in Discord where you can join us and throw ice cream gifts into the chat when we record the show, although it'll be different on whatever day you turn up. The Patreon supporters that we thank this week include Carson Ricketts, Nick Greenwood, Timmy S., Matthew Fenslaw, Ryzen Wolf, Jamie Evans, Jeffrey Wright, Doug King, Doug Gann, Righteous Ryan Johnson, Steve Huffman, Jonas Sabatini, Quantum Rectum Fryer, Andrew Walsh from Andrew's Alcove, OG friend of the show, Brian Rizzi, Doug Christ of 37 Effects, Sean Wright of Lava Effects, and Brian Gower and Kyle McIntyre of the Tone Jerks podcast. Thank you all ever so much. And that's it.
That's it, guys.
That's it. Thank you. This was a lot of fun. Congratulations to Derek and Beth, obviously. Beth, yeah. Let's not forget Beth.
Let's not forget the other half of this.
The other half. Congrats, guys.
Thanks.
We're so thrilled, and we'll be watching. All right. See you in a couple of weeks.
See you all soon.